Hey there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis for Cardano. Cardano has fallen outside of the upward trend channel we shared last week, but then it's approaching to another breakout pretty soon. So let's find out when that would happen. Here, second week after the fallout, not much surprise, the price continued to stay above the orange key level of 0.79, and given it has fallen outside of the channel, it's time to adjust and make it like this so we can better measure whether this downtrend is going to continue. So essentially what would happen is, if I enlarge this, you'll be able to see the current candle. There's still 3 days 20 hours left. If it continues to rebound, it may hit this point at around 90 cents and then bounce back. So for these three candles, they were pretty much the same, like hitting the top of the ceiling and then coming back down. And this trend may continue while the price continues to bounce between the two edges of this downward channel. I'm just trying to adjust it so it fits better, just to make sure. This candle probably, or as of this moment, is not somewhere we anticipate that it should be in the channel, because I'm trying to adjust to the point where these four candles, including the wicks, stay somewhat within the box. Yeah, that's roughly it. If we turn it to a line chart, you see it's well within the box. I just want to make sure these wicks are included as well, because in a line chart, the lines doesn't include the price points that are set by the wicks. So this should be good enough, and it gives us a bit of a guiding track where the price would be heading. And it depends on how we adjust this, because the tricky part is currently this, if we draw a line over here, this very steep decline within the box, but in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks time, assuming it will bounce up from the orange key level, then it can retest this ceiling. Obviously, as I said, we still have half a week to go, so it can do this right over here and then come back down to the bottom edge of the channel and try to re-establish some strength to a point where it's going to break outside of this upward channel box. So the key time point, if I extend this box, if this downtrend is really valid, then the point right over here near the end of the year would be another breakout point. So it's still far from now, but then anytime in this period, if, like I shared many times, this in candlestick pattern analysis is a bullish flag, meaning it should shoot outside of this box sometime in the future. But then I also mentioned these boxes or these flags doesn't mention how high or how bullish that would be. So when it breaks out, it may be a small climb, but then it declines to a lower level at a later time. Having said that, this, if it continues, mentioned before, this stage, especially this pattern over here, it looks like a head and shoulder pattern, plus it's coming down from the distribution cycle. So this up first, we have to move further down the timeline if this declining trend continues and it only breaks out near the end of the year. So this may end up happening in 2026. However, this is only of a smaller chance. So when the price continues to decline, assuming, let's put these few tags over here. It's kind of tricky right now because if I say this was actually, it doesn't look like it is because it's very, this little peak over here. If I say this is an accumulation and this is another small distribution, it's a bit too weak, that argument. So I would keep this the same while these last point of supply will continue, and when it continues to the deeper into November, that may be the time somewhere later this month or early November, this sign of weakness may reappear. So either this case continues, it's very unlikely, I would say, to trade at that narrow price range till end of the year. There's still almost 3 months in total. So I would say it would keep testing this orange support level. It has tested it for 2 consecutive weeks already. As of this moment, it's still staying above it, but if this downtrend continues, it's likely it's going to break the orange and come back to test the 0.73 red key level again, much like what happened back in late July, early August. And eventually, it may come down to show us the sign of weakness. If we go to the daily, this bull flag, the breakout happened. So last time we already talked about this triangle. So this triangle over here. So that's cross over here. The blue crosses the orange. It's basically end of this week. So I mentioned many times the breakout won't wait till that very tip to break to happen. So it happened yesterday, depending on like which part of the world you're in. For me, it was today earlier, and now it has passed this purple intermediate key level. Is it not right that October is bullish month? Why it's going to wait till the end of the year to move? Well, that's only a general term, right? Nobody says. If you look back and count in history for the past 5 to 10 years, check how many months that. Well, we can check here actually. While you're asking, right? So we're just starting here. This in October 2024, it didn't climb. It was a red candle. It dropped, right? And then 2023, yeah, a small climb, not a big climb. And 2022, another decline, right? So I don't know. People like to say that like a particular month in the year is like mostly bullish or always bullish, but if you look at the chart, you can quickly tell it's not the case. The candle can tell you it's definitely not what people are saying, right? So even here, October 2021, it was all red. So counting back 4 years ago, more red than not more bearish than bullish, right? So back to the chart here, the daily. So we were talking about this breakout point, and indeed the breakout happened, and we can take out this channel box and, well, basically not taking out but adjusting it so we can measure where the price is heading. So here, let me make sure the auto is switched off. So again, it's doing this maneuver again. I mentioned many times, the price basically bounces between the 2 edges of the bigger blue blocks, and now it's heading towards this side where I already mentioned in the weekly chart, it's somewhere around 90 cents, and it's a likely scenario that it would bounce off from that. And let me adjust this box a little, because I noticed the wicks on the top are not included. So just want to make sure the slope is more accurate as well. So this wick is inside the box, this wick as well, and this. That is a bit of an outlier, and probably we don't include that for now because I see this pattern seems to be fitting quite well. So there's nothing too special as of this moment. The volume themselves isn't very high, so this I will keep it as a lower percentage. Let's see whether I've adjusted anything over here. It's still 40, yeah, 40, 60. Same for daily chart. Yeah, no worries, rock and roll. And then one last check for Bollinger Band Curtain squeeze. Obviously, with these big price swings, we don't expect a squeeze to happen. So that's confirmed. I'm just removing the early text that I put in. Well, this has actually happened, so it's definite instead of 60%. So we are having a lower low situation now and lower high as well. So this downtrend is definitely confirmed. It's just a matter of time when it's going to break outside of this box, and that's what I said, like maybe the end of this year or early next year, there may be a chance if it doesn't fall below the red line. So if I extend this box further, that would all the way go to the end of February next year, but I don't think it can last that long. So basically we saw September 25th, basically on last Thursday, that's when it tested somewhere between the orange and the red. If this continues, it's let me check how far it's heading. Somewhere between now and mid-October, there may be another chance that it comes down to test the red when this downtrend continues. So if it bounces off from the top and then comes back down, that's somewhere around mid-October, or like October, somewhere between October 15th to October 20th, assuming it's bouncing it that way. It can obviously take longer and then take it till end of the month to happen, but still, as long as it is within this downtrend, then eventually we'll come back to a point potentially re-entering an accumulation cycle in the daily chart. The weekly is probably going to still take time because we haven't seen a selling climax yet. When that happens, that's the time we're going to re-enter an accumulation cycle. So like Rock and Roll, you asked, right? If when we look at the chart, a lot of times, well, at least for Cardano, well, say from, well, even October 20th was a red candle, and then October 21st, another red candle, and then 22nd, the third red candle, 23rd, a small like upward candle, and last year also red candle. So 4 out of 5 were red. So if this time it's also a red, then let me set this to just for weekly and below. So basically, if this turns to a red, it may be the occasion where we see this sort of candle happening again for the next few weeks, where it comes to test the red key level or even the white ceiling of the long-term playground zone right over here at around 64 cents. Let's see whether that would happen in such a way. Thanks for joining me for the Cardano session. See you in the next one. Cheers.